north of Chicago, and I have been uh, working with folks, whether it be athletes, firefighters, police, folks like all of us in the game of life for the last 12 years of that. Prior to that, um, we grew up in Acton, Massachusetts, so right down the street from Carlisle. If you've ever been to where Rich and Gail reside, so we were neighbors for many a year, and I trained under, at the time, he was the strength and conditioning coach for the Boston Bruins. He went on to be the strength and conditioning coach for the Boston Red Sox. And now he has his own training facility, actually multiple locations through the Massachusetts area. Um, since leaving him and leaving that area, I have met through actually my other coach that works for me, who is into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, so a martial art. He introduced me to this other gentleman named Will Chung. And Will Chung has a vast background, not only in martial, um, where it comes to martial art, but what he has done is basically reverse engineer what you would be taught from a martial arts standpoint. So how to, let's say, break a joint, he's been taught and figured out a way to reverse engineer to make the joint stronger. So whatever movement would make the joint weak, he's now reverse engineered that to make it strong. And um, you know, where will comes into play is we no longer necessarily deal just with drills, um, although we have drills to offer you. Where this comes in is connecting all the pieces, because whether it be financial, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, spiritual, we want to connect all the pieces to strengthen everything at once. You know, there's an old proverb, and I'm sure that Rich and uh, your historic genius will probably correct me, but just let me bastardize this just for a little bit. But it's it goes something like, if you want to go fast, you can go alone, but if you want to go far, you'll go together. And the essence is that it's the same in movement, it's the same in your life. If you just focus on one thing and one thing only, you'll do really well on potentially that one thing, but you'll be missing the larger picture of how that one thing actually connects to everything else. You know, if you can remember back to when you filled out a questionnaire for Coleman Knight, they ask you more than just financial. They ask you some emotional things. They ask you some background, some history of yourself, so that they can get to know you as a total human, as a total person, because investing is more than just numbers. So movement is more than just, bending a joint or rotating a joint. Um, so with Will, it has been about connecting all of these together. And Will has come up with something that I'm working to develop myself. It is called the triple chain theory. And the idea behind the triple chain theory is that it's built on three principles. One is that gravity exists. You hold something up, you drop it, it's going to fall. I mean, it's just fact. The other is that everything that's alive runs off a pump or peristalsis, whether it's the water that you see in the ocean, the heartbeat of someone, um, anything runs off of some sort of pump. And then the third thing is that it's all connected. And sometimes we don't necessarily know how it connects or why it connects, but it is all connected in some way, shape, or form. The reason why you're sitting the way you sit, or the reason why you have pain where you have pain, it all connects. Gail speaks often about where we feel certain emotions in our body, how we feel anger in our jaw, how we feel sadness in our chest, how we feel various emotions throughout our body. So that, in a sense, gives you just some sort of a reference point of how everything does connect. From a triple chain theory, we call our head and neck chain 0. Okay, just from a description standpoint, we try and make this kind of stupid simple. And then from our shoulder to the tips of our fingers is chain 1. From our shoulder to our hips is chain 2. And from our hips all the way down to our toes is chain 3. And the idea is that instead of doing something that's, say, like a squat, where you essentially think it's just a leg movement, the idea is that if you can connect all 3 chains at once, that squat becomes more than a squat. It's the difference between squeezing a lemon and getting lemon juice, or getting a drop of lemon essential oil. Lemon essential oil is potent stuff, and it will, it could basically put a hole potentially in plastic. That's why you need to use essential oils in glass, just FYI. But the idea is that what we want is that one little drop, because I don't want to sit there and squeeze lemons all day. Why waste time? We are all, from the time we are born until the time we die, we don't know how long we have. So why not squeeze out the most and the best that we possibly can in that time? Why waste time doing so much instead of getting more with less? So that is the quickest way I can describe the triple chain theory. But in essence, what needs to happen, and we'll do a little bit of this today, but movement is there to experience. You can't talk about movement. I can't tell you how great a squat feels. I can't tell you how a push-up is supposed to feel. It would be akin to you trying to describe the taste of a kiwi to someone. Like, okay, maybe it tastes a little, it's got like a texture of a strawberry a little bit. It's got, it's got the softness of this, but your description is not going to be the same as, Rich's. It's not going to be the same as Emily's or Trish or my mom's. It's all going to be different. So the best way is for you to experience it, for you to experience the taste of the kiwi, for you to experience the taste of movement of on your own. So we will get to that later in this call. Any questions so far? And Em, and you kind of see if anybody raises their hand, or I'm happy to answer anything so far. Good.
I just want to say there should be a way to raise your hand, even like if people are on a call, they can't raise their hand, but I thought there was a hand raising option on the Zoom.
There is. It's a human one. They can just do this.
If they're on the phone, I can't do it. If they're on the phone, we don't have.
It's a human option.
Or they could send in a chat. So
all right. So if nobody has questions,
Yeah.
then what we'll do is I'd like to just introduce an optional assignment, homework, if you also choose to participate. You know, uh, there was a survey that was sent to all of you, and the majority of you explained what you would like to accomplish in the next year. And I would love to, even if it's a small fraction, help you be a part of that process, that journey for you. Um, the 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 starting point though needs to be defined. So yesterday when we were on the phone together, Emily, Trisha, and myself, I used this example of the Mall of America. So the Mall of America is this monstrosity of a establishment. And what I said was that if I was somewhere in the Mall of America and Emily and Trisha were somewhere in the Mall of America, and we said, okay, we're gonna meet at the Nike store, and they go, okay, great, but I don't even know where I am. So how do I get to the Nike store? So we need to define where you are, because then I could say, okay, you're going to take a left at Ann Taylor. You're going to, go to the end until you see the Foot Locker, and you're going to take a right, and then you'll see Nike on your left-hand side, right? But if we don't know where you are in the Mall of America, how are we supposed to give you any bit of direction? So we need to establish your am, like I am here. Okay, so the homework assignment is called am, do, be. Am, like I am here. Define where you are. You need to just be honest. There's no judgment here. This is not something where you need to be able to do a certain number of reps, or you need to be able to walk so far, or do so many steps, or this is where I am. I just had a hip replacement. My hip bothers me. I am in pain daily when I get up and down out of a chair. This is where I am. I am dealing with low back pain. This is like, you need to define where you are. Okay, so that's one. That's the am. The next is the be, which is where do you want to be? So it's like, I want to be at that Nike store. So where do you guys want to be ultimately? I want to be able to move with no pain. I want to, lose 20 pounds. I want to breathe better. I want to establish a better, routine or structure in my day. That's your B. And the third component is the do. The third is the bridge that connects where you are to where you want to be. So that's the do. So am, be, do. And ultimately, the do are the actionable steps that you will take on a daily basis that incrementally will get you one step closer to that Nike store. There's another old saying called death by 1,000 paper cuts, where you have an issue that isn't being addressed, and it's this little micro cut, and you don't address it. So then another micro cut comes in, and another, and another. And finally, I'm sure you've all felt this in your life, where one thing happens, someone says something to you, something is done, a telemarketer on the phone, whatever it may be, but you snap. you blow your top, you blow your lid, because the death of all these little things that weren't dealt with just blow on you. So the idea is that most people don't start something because of this sense of overwhelm. Like, oh my God, I've got all of this to do. I see where I am. I see where I want to be. How the hell am I going to get there? That is like, that's huge. But then I say, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So, you know, the idea is that we want to reverse engineer now these paper cuts. We want to say, okay, you know, if my one thing for the day is I'm going to drink this water. So I drink 0 water throughout the day currently. That's where I am right now. I drink 0 water. Okay, my goal by the end of the day is to finish this. Maybe that is a step for you. It may seem minuscule, it may seem ridiculous, but that is a micro slice closer to getting you to that Nike store. Okay, so if you are willing, and again, this is optional, this whole process of Movement Connects is optional. It's what you want to get out of it. So I don't want to sit here during these monthly Zoom calls, and I don't want to lecture, because what I do all day is move. I mean, that's what I'm much better at, moving. Even my own children don't want to hear me. So, you know, let's do more moving and less talking. But the idea is that the more participation that we have, whether it be questions, whether it be input of your own feeling, whether it be stories about your own movement, that's what's going to make this special. That's what's going to add depth and flavor to what we are attempting to provide and accomplish with this group. So that is your optional assignment. I would tell you, if you are not on the Facebook group, to please consider joining that group. It is a private group. No one but the folks in this Coleman Knight community can see it. And if you're willing to share your MDB in that, I can give you real-time response. I can give you real-time coaching, as opposed to now waiting until February to say, well, this is my homework assignment. Well, 4 weeks have gone by. What have you done? So if you are willing to provide the real-time feedback, I will help you along the way, if you're willing. I also want to make the invitation very clear for all of you that once I give you this homework assignment too, from a movement standpoint, because you've got a written optional homework assignment and a movement optional homework assignment, I encourage and invite all of you to post videos of yourself doing that homework assignment within that Facebook group. Okay. I know, Mother. I know. It's a good thing you're on mute, because everybody would be turning to see you laugh. But it is critical for me as a movement coach, as a movement specialist, to be able to see how you move. Because you just can't tell me, okay, I'm doing push-ups. Because Rich can attest, I changed one thing in his push-up, and his reaction, he got up and he was going, that's not a push-up I've ever done before, right? We did one thing yesterday for Trish where I just changed one thing, right? And her face looked like she just had an explosion of flavor. Right? So my point is, if you're working with trainers now, if you're working with coaches, great. Keep doing that. I would love for you to share your videos of what you're doing in here, because all I'm looking to do is add greater depth, add greater flavor to that food that you're tasting, to that movement that you're doing. So yesterday I related it to like eating a steak at TGIF and eating a steak at Morton's. Like there's a different quality. There's still steaks, but it's a different quality. It's a different essence that you're getting when you go to Morton's. And that's what I want to provide. I want to provide that, whether it's the MSG where like it just makes you addicting, or it's that extra spice and flavor from around the world that makes it taste that much better. But that's what we want to do. So I'm not looking to change the fact that you're doing squats. I want to make that squat more potent, so you only need a little drop in, as opposed to you sitting there and doing squats all day because that's what you think you have to do, because you read it in Women's Health or Men's Health, or you saw this cool thing on Yahoo and you thought, maybe I should do that. So Facebook is also the forum that you can ask questions. Hey, I saw this in the news. What do you think of this? There may be some things that I can give you instant feedback right back. And there may be things where I go, I don't know, but I certainly know someone who might. So I'm not claiming that I know everything, but I am claiming that I'm willing to work for you and work with you to help find that solution or the answer to a question. All of that being said, any questions? Yeah, oh, we have a hand. Yes, Mother.
Are you going to I've never heard you talk about this chain stuff. Are you going to demonstrate what that is? So
Yes.
From here to here to...
Yeah, I'm going to demonstrate it, but more importantly, you're going to have to experience it.
Right.
And you have.
I have.
Yeah. Because the drill that I'm going to give you for homework, you've done before. I've showed you before. And it's one of Rich's homework drills. So this will be like, double stamping for Rich. It'll be awesome because he can't hide anywhere. Not in this group, not from me, not from anybody. Because everybody in the Coleman Knight office is going to be doing this, and he cannot hide. You can't close your door. Everybody's going to be coming after you. So, what else? What other questions? Nothing? I know we've already scared some people away from the meeting, which is okay. They're not ready for the special sauce.
Are you going to do the breath stuff too?
We most definitely can get into the breathing. That will, it wasn't on my docket for today, but I can address it. And what I would like to do is use that as a perfect example of things that you can bring up during these Zoom calls or during the Facebook, because if there are things that you are genuinely curious about or inquisitive about, these are things to post. And even this kind of has me thinking as well that potentially before the next Zoom call, Emily and Trish, that we can maybe get an idea of topics that people would like to discuss, because again, I certainly have an agenda, but I'm not here to push my agenda on any of you,
Right.
because it doesn't matter if, you know, I want to talk about squats today and, you know, nobody gives a shit about squats.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, I want to be able to, you know, address what your needs are and what your wants are, because this group is not about me. It's about all of you.
Okay.
Other questions? So is it just, who else is with us? All right. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, we have
It's like you're in the corner.
Mitch, Beverly.
All right. All right. Very good. I gotta like shift the view to see everybody. So that's all right. So if you are willing, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to introduce the movement drill for you. This is something you can do up against a wall. This is something you can do with no wall. This is something you can do anywhere. It requires zero weight. It just requires your human body. So if everybody could, I'm going to put the phone like this, but I'm going to see. Let's see. Everybody should be able to see me, except my head. How about now?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to stand sideways. Okay. But I first want to show you up close. So if you look at your feet, okay, even your hands, right? Your hands have this roundness to them. Your arches of your feet are supposed to have a roundness to them. Okay. The reason is that the earth is round.
What?
The earth is round.
Oh.
Okay? Yes. All right. So any of you flat earthers out there, sorry, the earth is round. So listen, anywhere on the earth, we've created these artificial surfaces. Okay. We've created flat ground. Even in my gym, we have, you know, rubber flooring that is artificially flat, right? But in my basement, it's like, it would be a miracle if I didn't step on a Barbie. So there is something round all the time. Pebbles, anthills, sand, gravel, asphalt, rocks, whatever you want to call it, there is roundness in us. Okay. So when we stand, right, we want to be able to receive the roundness easily. We also, because we're experiencing it within our own family right now, my grandmother, who's 92, has now really needed to walk full time with a walker. And part of the problem and part of the reason why she has needed that is because of stability, but the fact that she kept tripping and banging her feet into the carpet, and then she would fall. So we are very quick to train this, right? We're so used to doing calf raises. But what we don't do is we don't train the opposite. We don't pull our toes up actively.
And as we age, part of it is having the ability to do that. And by practicing, it will increase your ankle mobility. It will keep you safe walking. If you have any knee problems, it will be better tracking for your knee. It will also ultimately teach you that pushing into the ground, whether it be this way or whether it be this way, requires more than just the muscles by the foot. It requires you to connect all the chains from 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. Okay, so this drill, we are going to stand in V with your feet. Okay, so if you are willing to do it, you can do it. But if you're going to ask questions, you need to be ready to receive the answer, because I will not provide you a verbal answer until you experience the movement. So you will start in V, and it's going to be a 45-degree angle. And why 45? Because it's an equal angle each way. It is your strongest angle. All right? I love that everybody's getting up. This is so exciting. It's like palpitating. It's awesome. So you are going to stand in a V. You will then raise your heels and go into an I. Now, I have full confidence that everybody can go into a V and go into an I. I just got done with career day at an elementary school with 35 kindergartners that know how to go V to I. I know you can do it. So now you're in V. You're going to go to I. Now, the one thing that I ask is that the outside portion of your feet are the determiners of a straight line, not the inside. So when you look at that line, you will actually probably feel a little pigeon-toed.
Yeah.
Okay? For some of you, it will be very awkward. For some of you, not so much. But it should feel different than your normal stance.
Yeah.
Because what we need to establish is, you know, if you've ever played the game Jenga, the block game where you've got the 3 blocks one way, the 3 blocks the other way, and you slowly pull a brick out at a time until the last person pulls it out and the whole structure collapses. Has everybody played this?
Yeah.
Can I just get like a thumb or like something? Good. So the idea is that most people move from the end of a Jenga game. Their structure is so wobbly that we need to establish the start. We need to establish the beginning of the Jenga game to get good structure. Okay, so V to I, and the outside portion of your foot here is your straight line, not the inside. The outside portion of your foot is a straight line. Okay, so all I want you to do from there, V to I, okay, is you are going to just lift your feet off the ground. So if I'm going from the side, I'm lifting my feet off the ground. My toes are coming up. I am pushing my heels into the ground. I hope everybody can see this okay. Pulling your toes up and off the ground. And you can amplify harder to make more noise. Okay. You can increase your speed, right? But now, so if you see Trish, right? Like it's wobble, wobble, right? What I want to do now is address the other chains. So I want to start connecting what you're doing in chain 3 with 2 and with 1. So you're going to take your hands, put them at the middle of your chest, and you will, almost like you're giving yourself a hug, squeeze in, and then toe tap. So
Yeah.
this drill is called toe tap.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you need to squeeze so you're tighter here. And the idea is that you're going to go, let's just go for time. All right. So I have a watch with a timer, and I would like for you, when I tell you to, you can start. We're going to go for 3 minutes.
Wow.
All right.
Mhm.
And I'd like for you to go and just experience what 3 minutes of doing something that is simple is like. Go. You don't have to look at one another. And your job during this is to be with yourself. It is to try and connect the chains and create that feeling of being stable. It is to feel yourself stacked properly, because I guarantee you, if you were to look down right now, your feet have changed from that original I position. Your body is going to fight you every step of the way to go back to the original position. Your job, yes. What? I can't hear you. You're muted. Hold on. Go ahead.
My question is, when you first taught me this, you had me up against a wall and you told me to have, like, use my feet to determine how far I am from the wall,
Correct.
and that they were equidistant, like hip width apart.
Yeah.
And I thought you said to bend over.
Yeah.
Is that we're not doing that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I said you can do that up against the wall if you so choose, but you can also do it freestanding. Keep going, everybody. You guys are doing great.
never mind.
We're not at 3 minutes yet. You cannot be tired from just lifting your toes off. Come on now. Everybody can do it.
Oh, go. Where did you go? Where did you go?
Come on. You got it. What are you, a little tie-tie?
Where is she?
My mom, she collapsed.
I'm bending.
Great job, Rich. Keep pumping, baby. There you go, Kathy. Don't give up, sister. Pull those toes off the ground. Pull those toes. Pull the toes. It almost looks like you're pulling your heels off, not a calf raise, a toe raise. Kathy, are you pulling your toes off? Kathy? Can you hear me?
Kathy, you're unmuted if you want to respond.
Oh, okay. Yes. I
Are
was
you
lifting
pulling
my
your toes
heels.
off?
Now
What's
I'm
that?
not.
So Kathy, I want your toes
I haven't
to
got
come
the
up.
rhythm again since I quit lifting my heels.
So look, Kathy, I want it to be here. Pull your toes.
Right.
There you go.
I got it now,
Awesome. Keep working. We're almost there. You
but I
got
haven't
20
got the rhythm
seconds.
back. Yeah, okay, so.
20 seconds.
Sweating.
Come on. We're almost there.
It really makes a difference to remember to hug the chest.
Yeah. Because you're not like
Yeah.
like a bobblehead. There you go. Time. Relax. So
Do you move your arms in and out or just hold them in?
hold on 1 second, Kathy. Let me see. Say that again.
Do you move your arms, your elbows in and out, or do you keep them in?
So you can move them in and out because again, everything has a peristalsis. Everything has a pump to it. So you can certainly do that. And ultimately what we would do is we would sync this up with some breathing as well. You can also just keep them squeezed in as well. So there's no, I want to make, this other point. So thank you for kind of asking that question because it, reminds me to say there's no right and wrong. All right. If you would have, Kathy, if you would have asked me that even, 6 months to a year ago, I would have said, right or wrong. But the idea is that, we're all just developing. So it's just a drill to have you do. There's ways to get more out of it. There's ways to get less out of it. But, what we want to do is find ways to continue to get more with less because, that was 3 minutes, right? I want to potentially find a way to knock that in half to maybe 1:30, but make it so potent, make it so connected that I don't have to do another 1:30. So is it adding weight? I don't know. Is it adding speed? I don't know. Is it taking speed away and just holding them up and squeezing almost like, you were flexing for 1:30? I don't, there's not necessarily one answer. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but the idea is that what that drill is, you could sit here and say, it's kind of silly. Well, maybe you're right. It is kind of silly, but the reality is that the muscles that you're dealing with are endurance muscles. They're supposed to move like that a lot every single day. I mean, what do they say in like if you wear one of those Fitbit, like we're striving for, what is it, 10,000 steps or something like that? That's 10,000 times that you're having to lift your toes up on a daily basis, but you're just not thinking that. You're thinking, oh, I'm just taking a step and pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. But we never think the other direction. So, anybody that's ever run and had shin splints, this will eliminate those. Anybody that has had knee issues where, you ever see someone where they're standing, right? They're standing and their knees cave in like this. So almost like this A-frame that happens, right? I mean, your
you're basically, you're a recipe waiting to create major knee issues. Being in that I position, it actually takes your tibia, so the shin bone in your in the bottom half of your leg, that shin bone, and lines it up with your second toe. So there is like some science behind this. It's not like all just kooky shit that I'm making up. It's like it does make sense. So, you know,
I've learned it in yoga too, about the, you know, that it should almost feel like you're pigeon-toed, that that's proper posture for mountain pose.
Right. So for some of you, just standing in that I position is a good drill, quite frankly. In martial arts, they have a sequence called Ichuan, and it is a standing posture series where you know, it virtually looks like nothing's going on, but internally, if you've ever stood for a long period of time, because I can vouch for it, you get to a point within the hour or hour and 10 minutes that I have stood that it feels like you have spiders crawling on you. Like it's an eerie feeling because you don't understand what's happening in your body because nothing is moving. But really it is, because everything is moving from your breath. And that's what they believe in the Ichuan, is that you're gaining that strength, that stability, that grounding, that connection, that togetherness, just by being still, if you will.
Ben, I need to interrupt you and just let you know it's 2 minutes before 1, so we need to right at 1. So if you could review the homework and you know what you're asking for people to do on the Facebook group, and just wrap up.
Good. All right. So I'm going to do this in 60 seconds. Do this in the Mall of America. Find where you are in the Mall of America. What is your AM? Find out where you want to be. Okay, so M, your B, and then what is the do that needs to happen? It could be a simple actionable step like finish a glass of water a day. Maybe. If it's something more, it's something more, but there needs to be an actionable step. Okay, so am, do, be. That's the written homework if you're willing and able. Okay, we are all able. It's what you're willing to do. So that's 1. 2, toe tappers. I challenge you in the next month to see how many days within the next month you can do 3 minutes daily of toe tappers. I challenge you in the next 30 days, how many of those 30 days can you do 3 minutes of toe taps? And I ask you for feedback as often as possible, because I want to know what you feel after day 1, after day 2, 3, 4, 10, 13, 15. Because all we're doing is we're developing habits, consistency, compliance. That's it. Because all that's everything that all your other stuff is relating to. Consistency, compliance. Facebook group. Do it. Be a part of it. It's awesome. You get to see me way more. So.
All right, that was awesome, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. That was great.
Very inspiring, and I'm tired. All right, so we'll see everybody.
3 minutes.
Yeah, everybody chime in on the group.
Bye, guys.
And, yeah, we'll see you next month and on Facebook.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.